Okay guys, welcome to this tutorial on Arch Linux. Today we will be starting an install on Arch Linux. I've already done this twice, so this will be my third time downloading it. Just a heads up, we will be downloading it on VMware Fusion, but any VM is fine. And I'll be going through the beginner's guide over here. So if you guys want to take a look at the code, although I will be showing it. Now, so the first thing we're going to do is go to archlinux.org/download, and if we go down here, you can see there are different countries where we can download. I have chosen this one, es.its, but any of them will work. Just click that, and we want to download this dual ISO. This file right here, and I've already downloaded it, but essentially you just click it and it will start the download. And I'll just say cancel. Yeah, okay. So once this is downloaded, you'll want to open your VMware. So I'll be using Fusion, and here I'll click add and I'll select new VM, install from disk or image, continue, and over here I've already, as you can see, I've already chosen it. It's a dual ISO, and right here, and we'll just continue. And for this operating system, we'll be doing a 64-bit run, and this will be 3.x kernel. And it's very important here that you press customize settings or something of the sort, where, because we want to change the memory. 384 megabytes is not enough. So we'll press customize settings. It's going to ask us to save it, so I'll just say I don't know, third arch. I'll save that. Okay, and it'll bring up a menu something like this. And first I'm going to change in processors and memory. I'm going to change it to 2 processor cores because I have lots of, as you can see, I have 8, so I'm just doing that just because. And for this, we'll change it to 2048 megabits, so that because when we install it, Arch will be running on RAM before we set it in stone on the hard drive. So 2048, and then last thing for hard disk, I'm setting it to 15 gigs. Now if I look back here, so when I did this same install, and let me just open that up. As you can see, that with 15 gigs, I have 7.8 gigs available. So you can say about 8 gigs will be available, depending on how much space you want. You can adjust accordingly. But this is the test install with 15 gigs as hard drive. And so I'll set 15, apply, and now I'm going to open this in a second window, and I'm actually going to keep it compressed for this. So let's start it up. And it should give you a page somewhat like this. Okay, and so I'm going to say boot Arch Linux. We're choosing x86-64. And okay, a bunch of messages, and here we go. And now I'm going to increase the size again. Okay, so first thing over here, I believe, I'm not sure if this is going to be a problem, but this command right here is going to tell us if we have UEFI mode, and I know for sure that I don't, and already you can see that there's no such file or directory. That means that we are in BIOS mode. So there are two modes, UEFI and BIOS, and that's based on the motherboard. And here, as you can see, there's no such file or directory, which means we're in BIOS mode. And if that's the case, then you can continue on. I was watching someone else's video, and yeah. So we continue. We don't need to set the keyboard layout. That's already done. Internet is actually also already set up, because if you try pinging, let's say google.com, you can see where you get a message. Okay, and one other command I like to note is sometimes I type clear. All that does is clear the screen. So if you notice like the text is gone, just know I just typed that command. System clock, it wouldn't hurt, so just set that up. Okay, time to ACL set NTB true. Next, the storage devices. As you can see, for us, the storage device is SDA. And so that's where our 15 gigs is, so we'll be partitioning that drive. So we go down to the partition tables, and yeah. So we'll say parted /dev/SDA. Once inside, since we have a BIOS build, we'll be using MS-DOS. So we'll say mk label MS-DOS, and then now to set up the partitions. So we'll be following this. So we'll make our boot partition 64 100 megabytes, and we'll say, and this is an extra command to show that that is the boot partition. Next, we'll make the swap partition. So primary, and this is Linux swap. This will be from 100 megabits to 2 gigs. Okay, and I'm just setting 2 gigs. I mean, this is a virtual machine, so I don't really plan on using much, but it's just good to have a swap. Next is just the rest of the space we'll just allocate to the user to install all the different files and documents or whatever the person will use. And once you do that, quit. And so this will have set it, and now we apply it. So if you look here, you can see that it's already set SDA 1, 2, and 3. And now we do is we apply it. So we say mkfs.ext4/dev/SDA1, and same thing with SDA3. And for the swap partition, which is 2 gigs, this is our SDA2, we will type mkswap/dev/SDA2, and we'll swap on /dev/sda2. Next, we'll mount the partition, so mount /dev/sda3 into mount, and we'll make the directory /mnt for the boot partition. Now we'll mount /dev/sda1 with into the boot folder. And now we will install the base and the base developer packages. So this will install the base of Linux onto the machine now. And so search for packages, and right now we'll just install all the packages. So just keep pressing enter, and over here Y for yes. Now this would be a good time to take a break, because this will take at least 20 to 30 minutes. And so I'll pause the video here and I'll come back to you once we're finished with this. Okay, welcome back, and now we'll continue the installation. So first thing here is to generate an fstab. Generate dash capital U of /mount and put it into /mount /sc /fstab. Enter. Next, change to root arch-ch root /mount /bin bash. Okay, so as you can see, the prompt changes, and now we go into locale. So to edit the locale file, vi/etc/locale.gen first. Okay, and this is a huge file. As you can see, it's 484 lines. So just to make that easier, for those of you in the US, en_us, enter. Type that once more. Move the cursor down, and there we go. We got that. And to remove that, we will do. Okay, and to remove this, we will move the cursor over the hashtag, and we will press the X key once, and it will remove it. Now to exit, :WQ, press enter, and it will save and quit. So now our locale, and now to generate it, we just type in locale-gen and press enter, and this will regenerate the locales, and you can see that it generates the English US. Now continuing, we did that, and now we will enter that locale into locale.conf. So again, vi/etsy/ this time it's locale.conf, conf, press enter. Now to edit this, press the I key once, capital lang, sorry, equal sign, and en_us. So en_us.utf-8. And one thing to note is, you can see that when you press backspace, it just goes over the number. Well, so you can change it. So that's one thing to note. If I do multiple times, I have to re-put in all those backspaces, so UTF-8. Okay, when you're done editing, you press the escape key once. You'll notice the cursor comes back in, and colon WQ, and that will save the file. Next, we'll set our time zone, so TZ select, press enter, and you'll go through these prompts. For me, I'm in America, so that's 2, United States, so that's 49, and I'm in Eastern, so I'll just select 1. And it'll ask, confirm it, say yes, okay. So now, we'll type in this long script /ln-sf user share zone info, and then at the top you can see it's America _ New York. Well, whatever this is for you, just recopy that after zone info. So for me, America /new _ York, and we will link that into local time. Right? Yeah. Press enter. And now, I guess to adjust the time skew, we will do this sys to HC and set UTC. Okay. Now, we'll just use defaults for that. And then for the bootloader, install Grub. Now, since this is a VM, we don't need to install OS Prober here because we already know there's nothing installed on this hard drive. So we just do this, pacman -shift-s grub. -shift-s is actually for dependencies. So that's why it's saying resolve dependencies. And proceed, yes, we want to proceed with the install. Now you wait. Okay, so Grub's installed, and now grub-install --recheck /dev/sda. And notice we're doing this on the drive Arch is installed, not on the actual any particular partition. And next, grub-ok config. So this will create the file, and we'll put that in /boot/grub/grub.cfg. Yeah. Press enter. And it'll do that. Next, we will set the host name. So vi again, /hostname. Okay, I'm just gonna call it third arch over here. So, but you can name it whatever you want. So press the I key once, and then start typing in just what you want to call it. And then once you're done, press the escape key, then :WQ. Save and quit. Next, we won't configure the internet. And last thing before we reboot, set the password. Whatever you want this to be. Whoops. Password updated, and now we just will reboot. Or whoops. First we have to exit out of chroot, and now we type reboot. And they'll give us an option, and we'll say we want to install through Arch Linux. Okay, so now log in as root, and whatever that password was, and now we're in. So I'll resize this window again. Now I'll install Gnome. From here you can actually install KDE or Gnome. I prefer Gnome. So we'll be installing, or before we do that, for some reason after the install, they try to ping something, it doesn't work, so we need to set up the internet again by going to etcnetctl. Inside we'll go into examples, and if you type IP link, it already shows that there is an Ethernet, which is on ENO 16.777.736. So all we have to do is connect it through that, and you can see it's an Ethernet link. It's an Ethernet link right here. So, and if we look in examples, we see there's an Ethernet-DHCP file. So we'll copy that file out with the cp command, and ... takes us back. So now if we move back, cd ... and ls to show, you see there's our file. We edit that file vi space et ethernet-dhcp, and we'll rename this. Whoops. Okay. I'll just XX, and now ENO 16.777.736. Escape. Now to get rid of that T, just press X. Okay, and that's all we need to do. :WQ. Enter. And now if we, last thing we need to do is to start that. So netctl start Ethernet. So give it a second. Okay. Now we should be hooked. Oh, okay. If you're not hooked on, make sure that your spelling is correct. I know that happened to me once, and now that this works, we'll enable it to make it permanent. Okay. Now we'll proceed to install Gnome. So first we will install Gnome, and you can choose Gnome or KDE, but for the sake of this tutorial, we'll go through the Gnome installation, and I personally like Gnome better over KDE. So pacman-shift-s Gnome, press enter, enter, and actually Control C. Actually, we're going to want, let me just clear the screen. Well, for the sake of this, I'll install Gnome and Gnome Extra. So this comes with a few more GUI built applications. And now you can press enter. Enter, 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 enter. And now capital Y. So to proceed. And we'll let this run. So this is about 562 packages. Yeah, 562 packages. And this will definitely take a while. So I'd go take a coffee break or something and then come back. So, anyways, I'll pause the video. Okay, we're back now, and all 562 downloads have completed. And now we shall, one last thing to download. which is the display manager, Gdm. So pacman-shift-s Gdm, enter, yes, install. Okay, now it's installed. Now we enable it, using systemctl enable gdm.service. This will ensure that the display manager starts up right after the boot, so that we don't get a terminal. Instead, we'll go straight to the desktop. So that would be it, I believe. So now just reboot and Arch, obviously. And here we are. So this is now our Gnome environment. So we didn't create any users yet. So we're going to choose not listed, and we'll sign in as root for now. So and there we go. This is our new KDE desktop. Now and you can look, and if we click activities, we get this window. We can show all our applications here, and we can navigate. This is all our things. So now if we go back into terminal and type df.h, we can see that yes, this took, so with our 15 gigabyte install, it only took up 4.3 gigs, and you have 8 gigs left. That's of course with my 15 gigs. Now some basic stuff just before I let you go. Of course at this point you can just let go. You can sounds up here, and if you want to shut down or restart, you click this button, lock screen obviously, and settings. The first thing that I do recommend, obviously display is important. I won't set that up for you, but you can go here and you can configure the display size. And the other thing is users. I highly suggest you create a regular user, okay? So just a regular user, and we can just set a password of like test123. Okay, and we can, okay, it's not letting me. Let's try something else. How about man, this is testy. Oh, how about UWASCX123. And I highly suggest you do this and re-log in back into Anon user, because as root you can really mess up the profiles. Oh, whoops, that's not it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, log in as another. Okay. Shift. Okay, and figure out, make sure that our user was added. Okay, so he is here. I guess for some reason he's not being displayed. So now if I log out of root and on user, and now you can log in here, and now you are whatever user. So That's it for the tutorial. Go ahead and mess around, and I hope this helped you install Arch Linux, and thank you for watching this installing Arch Linux.